The first presidential debate was an unmitigated disaster for Joe Biden and his campaign. There are now widespread calls for him to step down and not run in the November election. His odds of winning have plummeted dramatically, falling from 35% to less than 10%. Biden has never faced such a dire situation in his entire political career. Today, we're going to fill in the 2024 electoral map as if the election were held right now. Solid states for Biden and Trump. We'll start by identifying the solid states for both candidates. Unfortunately for Biden, there aren't many solid states left in his column. He entered the debate already in a weak position, trailing Trump by 3 points in national polls and struggling in nearly every swing state. Now, after his disastrous debate performance, he is on the verge of losing states he easily won in 2020. For Biden, the only solid state is California. With its 54 electoral votes, California is a very liberal state, and despite his age and current condition, he would still likely win it by a solid margin. In addition to California, we can add Hawaii, Vermont, Massachusetts, Maryland, and the District of Columbia to the list of solidly Democratic states. However, this gives him a total of just 85 electoral votes. In contrast, Donald Trump has nearly every state in the middle of the country, all of which he has won by solid margins in the last 2 elections. These states form the core of Trump's base and are unlikely to flip in this election cycle. We also need to add 2nd District of Maine. Iowa and Ohio, Trump flipped these states in 2016 after they went to Obama twice. They have now become firmly Republican. Additionally, Texas and Florida, with a combined 70 electoral votes, are solidly in Trump's camp. Texas is going to be a consequential state in this election because it will be an easy victory for Trump, unlike last time when he had to fight for it. Biden invested heavily in Texas, but this time around, Trump leads by nearly a double-digit margin. In Florida, a recent poll from Emerson College showed Trump a significant lead compared to the narrow margin in 2020. With these solid states, Trump starts with a strong 219 electoral votes, likely states for both candidates. Next, let's move on to the likely states, where the margins are expected to be between 5% and 12%. These states are more competitive than the solid states, but one candidate has a clear edge. For Biden, the likely states include Washington and Oregon. However, the margins in these states, which were solid in 2020, are expected to shrink significantly. Biden's support has also decreased in Illinois, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Delaware. In Illinois, Democrats haven't performed as strongly since Obama was on the ticket. In New York, a gubernatorial election in 2022 showed Republicans coming within 10 points of winning, indicating a shift away from the Democrats. In Delaware, Biden's home state, the margin is expected to be much narrower than in previous elections. These states contribute to a total of 166 electoral votes for Biden, still far behind Trump's total. Trump's likely states include Nevada, Arizona, North Carolina, and Georgia. The margins in these states indicate a significant shift toward Trump. With these states, Trump reaches 268 electoral votes, bringing him closer to the 270 needed to win. Competitive states. Finally, we come to the most competitive states. These are the states that were highly contested in previous elections and are expected to be battlegrounds once again. For Biden, the lean states include New Jersey and Colorado. New Jersey has been impacted by the scandal involving Senator Bob Menendez, which has eroded trust in the Democratic Party in the state. In Colorado, Biden's performance has weakened significantly compared to 2020 when he won by a solid margin. This brings Biden to just under 200 electoral votes. Trump, on the other hand, is poised to sweep the Midwest, including Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. These states, part of the so-called Blue Wall, were key to Trump's victory in 2016. Trump is leading in the polls in these states, indicating strong support. In Minnesota, a state that hasn't voted Republican since 1972, the latest polls show a tie between the candidates. Trump came within 2 points of winning Minnesota in 2016, and his current performance suggests he could win it this time around. In Wisconsin, Trump leads in the polls. In 2020, Biden was expected to win Wisconsin by a large margin, but ended up with only a narrow victory. The current polling indicates a shift toward Trump. In Michigan, Trump leads, a significant improvement from his 2020 performance. In Pennsylvania, Trump leads. This is Biden's birth state, but it doesn't seem to be providing him any significant advantage this election cycle. Additionally, Trump is favored to win the 2nd District of Nebraska, which allocates its electoral votes independently. This district, which Biden narrowly won in the last election, is now leaning toward Trump. Tilt states. We are now left with a few more states that were solidly Democratic in the last election, but are now highly competitive. These include Virginia, New Hampshire, and Maine. In Virginia, the latest polls show a tie between the candidates. This is a state that Biden won by 10 points in 2020. However, the election of Republican Glenn Youngkin as governor in 2021 indicates a shift in the political landscape. If Biden continues to perform poorly, Virginia could tilt toward Trump. New Hampshire, which Hillary Clinton almost lost in 2016, is also highly competitive. The latest polling indicates a possible Trump victory in this state. In Maine, the polling shows a Trump victory, which would be a significant shift as the state has not voted Republican in decades. Finally, New Mexico, the only state with a Hispanic majority, is also leaning toward Trump. The Hispanic vote, which has been shifting away from the Democrats, is expected to favor Trump in this election. New Mexico's 5 electoral votes are currently on track to be tilt Republican. Conclusion. In summary, if the election were held today, Trump would win with 347 electoral votes, while Biden would only secure 191. This significant shift highlights the challenges Biden faces following his poor debate performance. The drastic change in the electoral map underscores the volatile nature of this election cycle and the impact that individual performances and campaign strategies can have on voter sentiment. As we approach the election in November, it will be crucial for Biden to address the concerns raised by his performance and work to regain the support of the voters. Trump, on the other hand, will need to maintain his momentum and continue to capitalize on the weaknesses in Biden's campaign. The next few months will be critical for both candidates as they navigate the complexities of the 2024 presidential race. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. It would help us to be motivated to do content like this in the future.